Thank you very much all for joining us. Welcome to our Seabourn fireside chat event here with Wendy. Welcome everybody. It's 3 p.m. on the dot. And as we get started, I'm sure we're going to have a few people that are going to be joining us within the next couple of minutes. We already have 57 participants, and I think that number is going to go up to 60 something or so. We had over 120 registrations, and usually, like I was saying, about half of the people end up joining live, and then this recorded video ends up getting to everybody else. Ideally, what we're going to do today is we're going to have a very nice and friendly conversation with my friend Wendy. And I'm going to go ahead and spotlight Wendy so that everybody sees her front and center. There you go. And the idea is that there's a very friendly conversation. I did prepare some questions I'm going to be asking Wendy. But the idea for today is that if you have any question that you feel is important to interrupt for, feel free to do so, because that we want to encourage everybody to participate and to engage and to chat and to talk to each other, and to add comments in the chat box. The idea is that when we're done with my questions, then we can open up also a Q&A session for everybody else to ask any additional questions. But in the meantime, Denise added a little comment in the chat with our Facebook and Instagram and website links, etc. I'm going to type hello.
Yeah.
And that is the box. I'm going to ask you all to type in your questions. And as we go through the event, I'll make sure that, as we go through the event, if you feel it's something that it's worth for us kind of looping back in at the end, then I will make sure every single one of those questions and comments that I see in the meeting chat box, I'll get back to them and read every single one of them. We're going to try to keep this, within the hour if possible. Usually our events end up overflowing a little bit over the hour, but that's why we're recording this event. And if anybody has any questions that you didn't get a chance to hear the answer for, you can always watch the recording later. Also, we want to encourage all of you guys to share this recording with anybody that you feel might be interested in learning about Seabourn. We are going to have a little special something of an offer going on at the end of the event. And this is going to be applicable to anybody that watches the event. So even if you share it with your friends and family and they learn of this throughout the event, they can also let us know of it, and we can apply the special little something that we have going on for you at the end of the event. And I already see some questions. That's good, Ronald. We're going to get to it. Barbara, we're going to get to it for sure. That's it. So let's see. Let's get started. Like I said, the chat box, you can add your questions there. The event is recorded. We're going to be sending everything. We're going to be sending the recording to everybody else. If there's a question that you feel you want to interrupt, feel free to do so. Unmute yourself. That's fine. We like the interaction. So without any further ado, I want to introduce Wendy. Wendy, how are you?
Hey, Carlos. I'm great. Thanks so much for the opportunity to say hello to everyone today. I'm looking forward to spending the afternoon with you all and chatting about travel. I mean, I think why we're all here today is because we love to travel. But I was just curious, what is it about travel that you love so much? Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's reason for traveling.
Everybody's what? I'm sorry? Wendy?
I didn't hear that. Somebody just came on for a moment.
Yeah. I think somebody inadvertently unmuted themselves, but I just muted them back.
Got it. Yeah, I know a lot of people's reason for traveling is different. For me, I love to travel for food. I love to experience different cultures through their food. And one of my favorite things to do, no matter where I'm at, is to go to grocery stores. I know that sounds so silly, but I love walking up and down and seeing what people are buying at the grocery stores. What does their produce look like? What do the seasonings look like? I think you can learn so much from cultures just from their food. What's your favorite part about traveling, Carlos?
Me, I guess learning how people live at the different locations, the language, what's normal and what's not normal for different cultures in different parts of the world. That's when I travel to cities and places where there are, where there's established cultures and so forth. But really, my favorite type of travel is adventure. That's I don't get to do a lot of it because they're usually longer trips and I have young kids, but that is my favorite. So just exploring places that haven't been explored and doing stuff that nobody else does, and just doing very unique and non-touristy stuff, which is funny, right? Because that's I'm in the industry of selling stuff to people that tour and that among other tourists, but I particularly like to do stuff that are not so touristy. That's just my personal preference.
That's
Um,
fantastic. I think everybody's kind of reason and wishes in travel varies. And sometimes it can vary from trip to trip, even. On one trip, you may be very interested in doing something off the beaten path and a little adventurous, some exploring. And a different trip, it may be something a little bit more relaxing. And sometimes you want to blend both of them. But I love that we're all so passionate about traveling, and we'll continue to be that way. So, yeah.
it's an interesting point. Every time I'm at any dinner, at any family reunion, any sort of meeting with anybody, the subject of travel always comes out, and people can immediately tell who are the passionate travelers and who are not. Obviously I get to interact with a lot of very passionate travelers, during my days, of course, because surrounded by people in this industry, that makes it even more fun. I say that I have one of the best jobs in the world because I get to talk to people, and I get to I get to sell the one thing people are actually interested in buying. So that definitely makes it a lot more fun.
Oh, and you're helping make their dreams come true. Some of my favorite part about taking vacations is the time leading up to taking the vacation. All the anticipation and the planning. I don't think of it as boring or tedious. I really like that part of it, and trying to think about what that's all going to be, and the excitement around it. So.
Yeah. So that leads me straight to, well, one of the other things that I wanted to mention before we officially get started with the questions that I had pre-planned, which is for this event, we like to send out these polls. So I'm going to push one out right now,
Oh,
which
great.
is really what we were talking about, right?
Oh,
What
I
is
love it.
for traveling? So love to get to know a little bit more about who's participating in today's event. And I'm going to be pushing out some of these polls throughout the event, so that we get to learn a little bit about our audience.
That's a great question. And it really does kind of make you start thinking, and helps kind of set your path on for the planning and making sure that you incorporate exactly what you're looking for out of your vacation.
Yeah. And exploring new destinations seems to be winning by quite a bit, almost 69%. I'll share the results in a minute.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but let's get started with with today's event. I mean, Seabourn, like I said, before we even got started, is one of my favorite cruise lines. We've been doing business for a long, long time. And I've known you for a couple of years, joined Seabourn officially, right? I mean, you've been part of the
Yes,
Carnival family for a long time.
I have.
But what do you currently do for Seabourn?
Yeah, so I'm the director of North America sales. So I have a group of sales team members that are throughout the US and Canada, that work with our valuable travel partners and help design and develop incredible vacations for our wonderful guests. But it's an awful lot of fun. What I don't get to do enough of is spending time on our beautiful ships, because that really is one of the special treats of it all. But we do get to spend time with all of you. It looks like your poll results are in.
Yes. There you go. So 68% exploring new destinations. A few of you guys trying local cuisine. That's actually one of my second favorite too. Culture immersion and learning and enjoying outdoor activities. Look at that. Interesting. All right. That's what we get to learn a little bit about you guys. That's good.
Yeah. So getting to new places, that's one of those things
Can
as
we
you
ask
travel
questions?
more and more, it becomes harder to find those off the beaten path places that you've never visited to before, right? So it's becomes our job at Seabourn to find those unique places and to take you there.
Exactly, exactly. So Wendy, so you've been with Seabourn for what is it, 3 years now?
2 years, yes.
2 years now?
Mhm.
And you manage a team of business development managers throughout the United States. Obviously, most of our conversations are with Jesse, who
Mhm.
who's kind of our main point person. But you and I have gotten an opportunity to get to know each other quite well, not only because we've worked very closely for the last couple of years, but also because I'm very honored to be part of the advisory board for Seabourn. And what that means is that once every, what is it, 3 months?
Yes. Yeah, we meet regularly and you provide incredible feedback to help guide our decisions moving forward.
And the reason why I bring that up is because obviously having an opportunity to interact with a lot of our guests and a lot of our travelers, the feedback that I get from you guys, whenever you guys have any feedback, like for example, Steven was telling us, probably he didn't even mean to say it this way, but he was saying, hey, I wish Seabourn would have had an excursion or wouldn't have canceled the excursion that we had originally in New Zealand. This is the type of information that I love to gather and then bring up in our advisory board meetings. I think there's no more than, what is it, 20 agencies in the entire advisory board.
That's right. Yes.
Very honored to be to have a seat in that table because it really gives me a lot of insight regarding what's going on with Seabourn and the future of Seabourn, but also an opportunity to share the feedback from our guests and to like you said, help shape the future of the brand. Thank you very much for that opportunity. And let's start with a lot of the people within today's conversation are existing Seabourn past guests, but many of you guys are not Seabourn past guests. And so just to kind of shape up the conversation, Wendy, I'd like to ask you, what can you give us an overview of what is Seabourn? What does Seabourn stand for? What are the Seabourn differences, and a little bit about this famous Seabourn moments that we'd love to talk about. So
yeah, so Seabourn has been around for, this is actually our 35th year. So it was designed and created to provide exceptional travel experiences to our valuable guests, taking them to places that they typically wouldn't be able to reach by land or by sea, even on some larger cruise ships. So we purposefully designed 7 beautiful ships that travel to all 7 continents. And, we're a little different than some other cruise lines in that we don't do the same itinerary week after week, repeating on repeats. So you might think of, maybe a ship that sails from Miami that does maybe a 7-day Eastern Caribbean and a 7-day Western Caribbean. That's what a lot of people think of when they think of a cruise. Well, Seabourn doesn't ever do those. What we're really focused on is going to places that are hallmark destinations, locations around the world, but at the same time, during that same voyage, taking you to a place that you might not have ever even heard of. And the reason why that we're taking you there is because there's likely an experience there that's so special or so unique, or maybe it's just a cultural experience with the people that live in that region to give you a closer look at what life is like in that particular part of the world. It really just kind of makes travel even more fascinating. So it's about going to places that are unique and special, but also doing so in just incredible style and comfort. The ships are purposefully built for luxury, ultra luxury even. So every single room on board is a suite. If you're thinking about larger cruise ships, there might be just a small grouping of suites on board, but on Seabourn, every single room is a suite. So talking about over 300 square feet in every room. The bathrooms are my favorite part because I like having a nice spacious bathroom to get ready in. And then my second favorite part, closet. Because I want to bring everything with me. I mean, literally everything. I don't want to compromise. I don't want to think about what I have to take and what will fit in the closet in the small cruise ship closet. I have a walk-in closet on Seabourn, so it's a great way for me to just stretch out and relax. Of course, most of our suites also come with a private veranda, so truly there's more room in the room itself, and that just leads to a relaxing, laid-back, spacious, luxurious accommodation that travels to the most wonderful places in the world.
Awesome. And so, I mean, obviously, there's this famous Seabourn moment. Can you share with me what that means? What are those Seabourn moments like? And can you share maybe one or two examples of that?
Oh, Carlos, that's almost a closely held secret, these Seabourn moments. And we got to think about them as surprise and delight. It's something that you're never expecting. And once you experience it, you don't likely forget it. So it could be something like, being in the Caribbean and, venturing out to our private beach area. And once you're there, we set up a beautiful beach barbecue, not with hamburgers and hot dogs, but with lobster and steaks and, wonderful fruits and vegetables. And then kind of the creme de la creme, we set up a surfboard out in the ocean that is covered with champagne and caviar, and you're joining other guests out in the water, literally having champagne and caviar in the middle of the ocean in the Caribbean. That's not a moment that people don't forget. It's just, I don't know what is. It's decadent, it's luxurious, it's super special. But above everything else, it's really, really fun because it's done in such a relaxed way that it's just a really wonderful one of those Seabourn moments.
I think that at the core of it is just any memorable experience or any memorable moment throughout your experience while you're traveling with Seabourn. I think I've heard people remember amazing stuff such as the waiter remembered exactly what I had for breakfast the last so many nights and made sure that was an option for today, but also recommended a different option that really it made my day because it was something that I had mentioned that I really liked, and he picked up on it. Like these little things, these little memories that are created by the personal connection that the staff on board Seabourn creates with each one of the guests. I think that's one of the very special things that you guys do very well.
That's it, Carlos. I really think at the nutshell, it's creating those personal relationships with you and remembering things that are going to be important for you as you kind of, continue on your journey. Maybe it's a special cocktail you like and anticipating that you might want it. It's special. It's not something you can always just put a finger on and say, that was it. But boy, it makes it everything just feel that much more special.
Yeah. No, I agree. That brings me to pushing one more poll. I want to know who has sailed with Seabourn before. So if you have, let me know. If you haven't, let me know.
Oh, this is a good one. I'm curious as to how many people have not sailed with Seabourn before, that maybe are curious to see what this brand's all about and how it's different from maybe some others that they traveled with before.
Very, very interesting. So far, 63% of you have not. And I'll share those results.
Wow.
Give me 1 second. I don't want to stop it. I'm going to leave it on throughout my next question. Then I'll share the results. Wendy, so on a typical Seabourn cruise, what is included and what is not included?
Oh,
what is that Seabourn all-inclusive difference?
It truly is a very inclusive product. So from the moment you step on board, all of your meals are included. Everything, even specialty restaurants, all of your meals are included. Room service is included. There's no additional charge. Gratuities are included. That's not something that's added on at a later time. It's simply part of your price from the very beginning, your cruise price that is included. all of your beverages. So whether you like specialty coffees in the morning or specialty waters, I love sparkling water. It's just one of those things that I just can't drink enough of. So San Pellegrino or Perrier, that's all included. How about cocktails? I mean, certainly wonderful cocktails before dinner, after dinner, during dinner, all included. Wonderful fine wines available all day, all included. And then on top of that, we also have mini bars in each of your room. And those mini bars don't have the little airplane bottles that you might normally expect. Instead, they have full size, liter size bottles based on your preferences. So for each suite, you're able to select two different liqueurs of your choice. So if you like one and the person that you're traveling with likes something else, you'd both be able to get your favorite thing as well. And they replenish them as you go. So it's nice to be able to have that convenience. And of course, the inclusions are especially nice. Your internet is included. I know that we're all obviously on internet today, but when we're traveling, no one likes to be disconnected anymore. You want to be able to, talk to your friends or family back at home. Some people even work while they're traveling on vacation. It's important to kind of keep in touch with what's going on. So your internet's included. Truly, Carlos, it's harder to find things that are not included than that are. So let's see, spa services would not be included. So if you wanted to enjoy a massage, that would be an additional cost. Shore excursions are not included. And I'll tell you the reason why. We've talked a lot with our advisory board and with our past guests for many years about that particular subject, because it's something that's debated quite a bit. And what we found is that most of our guests really like to kind of carve their own path, create their own fun when they're on vacation. They like to do something a little different or a little unusual, maybe, than from other people. So the idea of a guided shore excursion on a whole is not as popular with Seabourn guests as it might be with some other brands. So the idea of having shore excursions included would mean that the overall cruise price would need to increase, and that based upon our guest feedback, not everyone would like to participate in them. So it was just more of a choice of making sure that we're following the direction and the guidance of our past guests and carving the path, creating the vacation that they really want. So as a result, shore excursions remain to be something that is done separately. And as we heard some of your customers mention earlier, they're used via tour, which many people do. Some book directly with Seabourn. That's also fine. And then some people just do their own thing. Maybe they rent a car in the particular port of call, or maybe they just want to go out for a nice walk or a hike, maybe go to a great restaurant. And if you're traveling with me, you're likely hitting the stores. So you're probably going to go shopping. Carlos, would you be up for shopping?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm not a big shopper at different destinations. I dress. I'm a very simple guy. I shop, I have like two brands that I shop, but I shop them online. I already know I buy the same clothes over and over.
That's
So
okay. You can be with my husband and help me carry my bags. So
exactly.
you're
Or
welcome
you
to
can go with
join
my
along.
wife, or
But
you can
yeah,
go with my wife. And
that's right. But the nice thing is there's always lots of options, lots of choices.
no, of course, of course. And if I do shop, by the way, it has to be something that I know I wouldn't be able to find anywhere else. So like when I go to Venice, I know there's certain sunglasses that you can only find in Venice. And so that's what I go to shop for in Venice when I go. That's my thing.
That's a nice
Um,
thing for me. It's always shoes. Always shoes. No matter what, always shoes.
Always. The results of the last poll are out. Have you sailed with Seabourn before? 64% of you guys said that you have not. So that's good. That means that you're going to learn a lot today. And 36% of you have, which means it's amazing that you'll have an opportunity to either, I guess, endorse what we're saying or provide feedback. Of course, we keep it real here. So awesome. And what about the destinations? I do have a slide for this, and I do want to share this one. So allow me for 1 second because I want to share my screen on here.
Destinations. I know that was, one of the reasons why people like to travel. That was the highest rated one was going to new places, right? On your poll today?
Correct. So
Yeah.
talk to me about this slide. I mean, you guys, and I mean, I have, wait, hold on. I have this other slide over here, which can give us a little bit of context before we talk about destinations. We have 7 ships, nearly 1-to-1 crew to guest ratio, 400 ports worldwide, 4 submarines, 40,000 guests, 1,800 kilos of caviar served each year. And then this is
Carlos, we really like caviar. That was one of the things that I forgot to mention. Caviar is included.
and
Can you believe it? Caviar
Unli-
is
unlimited
free,
caviar.
unlimited caviar. And I assure you that if you are sailing with me, we're going to eat a lot of it. So caviar is one of my favorite things. It's included. And where else can you go to get unlimited complimentary caviar?
That's amazing. So this slide shows us like literally the entire world. I mean, is there, I guess, a part of the world that you don't visit?
Chicago.
For those, let me give the entire, let me give our audience a little bit of more context here. So when you're talking about Seabourn, you're not just talking about ships that travel your typical destinations. They also have 2 beautiful expedition ships. If you've been following our events, we had an event with Seabourn Expedition. I'm going to say about a month and a half ago. So when we have those every so often, so stay tuned if you want to learn more in depth about those and these ships. But you have the ocean ships and you have expedition ships, purpose built, beautiful. I had to spend a night on the Pursuit, the new one, very recently, and I loved it. Loved it. It's an incredible ship. And because of that, you literally visit every single part of the world from, you might get a lot of cruise lines going to Australia and New Zealand, but you don't have a lot of them visiting the Kimberley, because that's an expedition destination. You might have a lot of people maybe navigating through Antarctica, but not really going deep into Antarctica. But at the same time, you have your traditional Alaskas, you have your more traditional ocean destinations. Can you talk a little bit about this slide, Wendy?
Oh, yes, for sure. You're right. Those expedition ships allow us to get to really remote, interesting places throughout the world. And you touched on quite a few of those. I have to say, the Kimberley region in Australia, until recently, I'd never even heard of this area. But after learning more about it, I think we're all so excited about visiting there for the first time. Just truly an untouched area, a very, very difficult place to get to. Even most Australians have never, ever been there because it's so remote. Truly getting there on a ship is a really great way to do so, because you're able to really reach those areas that are pretty difficult to get to. But yes, we travel all over the world. Where we don't travel are rivers or, of course, inland. So no Chicago, no rivers in Europe or anywhere else, as these ships are ocean ships or expedition ships. But we like to kind of have the philosophy of following the sun. So we always want to be in those places in the very peak season. So, think Australia in the North America wintertime. So those kind of late December, January, February, when it's getting cold in the US for the most part, it's amazing. It's summertime in Australia. So that's why our ships kind of deploy into that area. Of course, in our summer months, we're in Alaska to get to enjoy those long days and those really incredible scenery there. We're in the Mediterranean. We're enjoying those beautiful places there. And then, of course, in the wintertime, if you're trying to stay closer to home, the Caribbean is a wonderful option. But you certainly have never sailed to the Caribbean until you've sailed it on a Seabourn ship. As we are going to destinations in the Caribbean that most people have never, ever ventured to. Nothing wrong with some of those really hallmark places in the Caribbean, but we're trying to get you to the small islands, the places that the large ships are not going to be able to get into. And in fact, most of of them don't even have a docking location. So we're utilizing our tenders to get you into fascinating places like Joost van Dyke, one of my favorite places to visit in the Caribbean, or St. Bart's. Truly magnificent places that are really special.
I think that's important to share is, obviously the size of your ships are among the smallest in the luxury cruise industry. That's very, that's a very important piece of information because when it comes to luxury, you want to, well, one of the things that you normally are looking for is you just don't want crowds, right? You want you want to feel like you're in your own yacht, in your own private, your own boat. And that's one of the feels that Seabourn tries to provide, not just because of the size of the ship, but also because of their the feel on board, right? That country club casual, where you literally never have to dress up. I mean, you can dress up as much as you want, but you don't have to, right?
All about personal preference. Yeah. So if your favorite thing to do is to get all dressed up for dinner, you are not going to be alone. There's going to be plenty of people dressed up with you and ready to celebrate life and enjoy a great meal together. But if your idea of fun is maybe having a little bit more relaxed dinner, maybe sitting outside and enjoying the beautiful scenery as the ship sails by, you can certainly do that in a more casual environment, and that's okay as well. So it really is up to you to design the vacation of your dreams.
And talk to me about we know that 64% of you guys have not sailed with Seabourn before. And I know that many of you, I already unshared my screen, right? Yeah. And I know that many of you guys might not be world cruisers, but the reason why I want to talk about world cruises in today's event is because one thing that I do know is that most of you guys want to look for that opportunity to be, to take those long exotic voyages. It might not, that doesn't have to be over 100 nights, but sometimes many of these world cruises are split into smaller segments as well. And I guess I wanna kind of start this conversation by sharing with the crowd something that one of our guests today brought up is you're doing the 2024 World Cruise. You did 23, you're doing 24. You're not doing 25 a World Cruise, but you're doing 26. So before we talk about the 26 World Cruise, can you share with us why did we not do a 25 World Cruise?
We're trying a different strategies. So there's, certainly doing a world cruise is incredibly exciting. And for some people, it's a once in a lifetime experience. For others, we see many repeat guests on them. But we really wanted to try to, change things up and provide a little bit more variety overall in the destinations that we visit. So that was kind of the strategy behind it. In 25, well, it actually starts in late 24. So it will be kind of encompassing part of 25, if you will. Instead of doing the world cruise, we're actually doing a circumnavigation of the continent of Africa. That's going to be incredibly special. It's 90 days and it'll be round trip from Barcelona. And the reason why Barcelona is it provides us a great opportunity for air, convenient air for people traveling from around the world. So that's just a much easier place to start and end the journey in. But that's going to provide a really unique, special experience. And I'm not sure that there's anything else out there like that 90-day circumnavigation of Africa. So that'll be 25. Starts in late 24, but it is for a couple months in 25.
Right. So you're not calling it a world cruise, but
you're not calling it a world cruise. Yeah.
It's called a Grand Voyage. So it's not 100 and something nights, it's 84 nights. But it's doing a region of the world that not a lot of people get to really visit in depth, which is Africa. So that's great. And so it starts in December, mid-December, 24?
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. And continues through for the first couple months in 25. So then in 26, the World Cruise is back and it's a good one.
Awesome. So, and I want to hear it. I want to hear the feedback once we put it up. Let me see. Da-da-da-da-dum. Share screen. The Ring of Fire.
Yes. Isn't that a fun name?
I love it.
Yeah.
Sell this to us, Wendy.
So the idea behind this incredible voyage is, really all those volcanic islands in the Pacific, right? What I love about this, especially for guests that are traveling from North America, is that it leaves and returns to North America. So to me, I think that's a really nice way to kind of start and end. You're not having to travel so far away to get the party started, if you will. So this is going to be pretty special, 129 days. It starts January 6th of 2026, and it's extra special, starting from Los Angeles, sailing through Hawaii into in the South Pacific Islands, circumnavigating Australia, then going up through Japan for the flower season. So we're going to be there during those peak floral times, and then continuing on until we reach Alaska. So we're going to do the very start of the Alaska season and then finish up in Vancouver. So pretty special what we'll do during that time, with lots of ports, 65 ports, 6 overnights, 3 late night sailings, and lots of special events throughout. Of course, not everybody can do this length of a sailing, right? So these are divided up into several segments. So if you can only do maybe the beginning or the end or somewhere in the middle, you can still join in on the fun. But truly, to have the best experience is to do the entire voyage.
The entire World Cruise, of course. And I hear that for the 2026, you have some new amenities that you're adding for the 26?
Yes, yeah. So I think you might have a slide on that as well. So we kick things off with a gala. And the gala is extra special. That's truly one of the most sought after experiences that we have. It's more than just a dinner. It's a dinner and a show. It's a formal evening held at a beautiful hotel, and it really is a great way to kick off the incredible event. Of course, that's only available to guests that are on the full World Cruise, and all of these amenities are just for guests that are taking the full voyage, the full World Cruise. So that, I think that really starts things off in a beautiful way. In addition to that, there's 2 nights of pre-hotel that we include in that as well. And that kind of gets, as well as your business class air, to the cruise and on your return as well. Of course, we also include those transfers. So all of that is part of it as well. And then let's think, my goodness, to pack for that long of a journey to so many different places with so much to experience. We actually help you with your luggage. So we have a wonderful valet luggage shipping service that we provide for you. So what you do is you pack up all your suitcases, and someone comes to your home and picks those up, and you say goodbye to them. You get on the plane, you fly to the hotel, and your bags are waiting for you. So it's a beautiful thing not to have to deal with your luggage, especially for such a long journey. So I think that's a really nice way to kind of kick things off. We take care of the visas for you for any of those places that we visit that are required. And then again, with all that packing, with all that time on board, we also take care of your laundry, your dry cleaning, and your pressing of all your goods while you're there. So why should you have to think about laundry when you're on vacation? It's just one of those unnecessary things. So yeah. So of course, if you're going to be gone for that period of time, you have to stay connected. So we always have our internet package included, but for this, we've actually upgraded the package as well. Of course, we use Starlink now, Carlos. So Starlink provides us truly exceptional internet connectivity around the world. And with this, we're actually just increasing the streaming ability. So you'd be able to watch Netflix even if you wanted to while on board. So if you get tired of the movies that we provide, then you can continue to stream your favorite shows.
And so that's only for the 26, right?
It is. That's for 26. So all of these amenities are for 26. In addition to that, the shipboard credit, we even include some medical services. So if that's a concern for you as well. So it truly is a very inclusive experience. And right now we have our pre-sale going on. So this is not open to the public just yet. We will have this available as of the 16th for our new customers to Seabourn. Seabourn, but if you've sailed with Seabourn previously, then this is available for you to book right now. And we're really excited about it. We've already sold quite a few journeys on the World Cruise, and we're hoping that one of you might join us as well.
So past guests can book it already.
That's right.
New to Seabourn, in about 6 days, it'll be open for everybody else to book. Good to know. Good to know. Okay, fantastic. And now obviously, you know, the World Cruise is amazing, and a lot of people want to explore the world that way. But I do want to spend at least 2 minutes talking about your newer ships to the fleet. I spoke about them briefly just a second ago, but your expedition ships, right? And then Seabourn Pursuit, which just very recently joined the fleet. Can you talk a little bit about it?
Two beautiful purpose-built ships to really built to explore. So you said one of your favorite things to do is to explore on vacation and really reach those unique places. So I got a chance this past summer to sail on the Seabourn Venture in the Arctic area for 2 weeks. Started off in Greenland and did about 10 days in Greenland before venturing over to Iceland to finish up the sailing, getting to some of the most remote, unique, special places with scenery that just absolutely blows your mind. When you think about Greenland, it's kind of like one of those spots on the map that you just can't possibly imagine anybody living there. And there truly isn't a lot. I think there's maybe 100,000 people that live in this huge landmass. So when you're visiting any of the ports of call, you really don't see anyone at all. There's really more animals than you see people. But wow, when you talk about the landscapes, it's unlike anything else. It really is quite beautiful and very diverse.
No, and you know, I haven't had an opportunity to do an Antarctica cruise just yet. I was able to spend the night on board the Pursuit when he was in Miami, and I was blown away. I mean,
what was your favorite part, Carlos? What did you like about the ship?
Wow. Wow, hard to tell, but so was it called the Exploration Lounge?
Yes.
Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Which is at the area where you can basically see you can see everything that is going on in the like the captains are, is that the same place? I just want to make sure that I'm
Bow Lounge, I believe, is the one that you're talking about with all the monitors where you can see all the maps, and that's that's incredible, right?
amazing. I love that place.
Yes,
That's really
it's
cool.
amazing. Some really cool differences that are on our expedition ships that you
No,
won't find on the ocean ships.
I liked the some of the suites, some of your bigger suites. I thought they were extremely unique for you know, for an expedition ship. Also love the sauna. Like you actually go into the sauna with a view of the outside. Like I've never seen a sauna on any ship like that. I thought
Yeah,
that was
it's
really
really
cool.
special, the sauna, and there's a different one for men and women, so it is separate there. But both of them have ocean views. I don't think I've ever seen a sauna with an ocean view, and that's really special. You know, when you're in these very cold, icy areas, it's really something to be able to go in there and really warm up. You know, in those really warm temperatures, and yet you see an iceberg outside or a glacier. It's really like something you've never seen.
Yes. No, absolutely. You know, I'm very much looking forward to doing one of these expedition cruises very soon. It's just like I said, they're a little bit lengthy. You know, you have to be able to be away for enough time. And for me, it's not even work. You know,
Carlos, we have
Starlink.
Starlink.
I know, but
You can work on board. You
I can't
can.
beam my 7 and 5-year-old into the ship via Starlink. So I still need
That's
to figure
right.
those out. But anyway, you know, you know, I'll get to it. I will get to it for sure. But look, by the way, for those that are typing a lot of your questions in the chat, I want you guys to know that I'm looking at them, I'm seeing them. I'm purposely leaving them for the end, but know that I will get to each and every single one of them. And before we move to my next question, I want to push one more last poll. We learned of who. Oops, we learned. How do I launch it? 1 second. Sorry.
Before we do, I've got to give a shout out to Robert and Michael. I've got some people, it sounds like, that live right near where I live, which is pretty cool. So hello, Robert. Hello, Michael. And yes, it is a good day to be a Tar Heel.
They live close by to where you live?
Possibly, yeah, from the chat.
Really? Okay. That's awesome. You also live very close to my brother, so hopefully you can say hi to him for me. So I pushed this last poll. Have you ever done business with Luxury Cruise Connections? So if you have, amazing. Thank you for your loyalty. If you haven't, then hopefully we're going to get a chance to do business sometime soon. I mean, we love the opportunity to meet new people and new guests during these events. So hopefully we'll have an opportunity to get to know each other and introduce you to one of our advisors. So far, 49% of you have stated that have not done business with us yet. I'll share those results in a minute. So one of the most popular questions lately, not necessarily in the chat, but throughout the world of Seabourn, is the news that was shared very recently about Thomas Keller.
Yes.
So what happened?
So, wow, he is a fantastic chef, and one that we have really enjoyed having as kind of our star chef for many years now. What we were finding was, that we were getting somewhat mixed feedback from our past guests regarding kind of the offerings that we had on board. And we, have and currently have on board the wonderful grill restaurant that features his incredible inspirations. It's more of a steakhouse style restaurant. And what we were finding is that our guests were giving us great feedback of what they would love to see, what kind of restaurant would really pique their interests. And what we kept hearing time and time again is that they wanted healthier food. They wanted lighter food. They wanted things that had more of a Mediterranean style, kind of a Mediterranean diet, if you will. Things with lots more vegetables, colorful, fresh ingredients. And we loved the concept. Unfortunately, it's not something that Thomas Keller does. So what we've decided to do is in the coming year, we will be revising our grill restaurant, the Grill by Thomas Keller, or TK Grill as some call it, to be a brand new concept that we are designing with feedback from our guests and from our advisory board as well, in really what they would love to see, what would be, kind of their dream restaurant that would be inspired by the places that we visit and by kind of their interest in their own kind of food choices. So the new restaurant, not sure if you have the slide, Carlos, but new restaurant is coming soon. We're actually going to be debuting it in January. Oh, we've got you pull up.
Dun, ta-da.
Yeah.
Okay, so just real quick on the poll, 50% of you have done business with us before and 50% have not. So that's great. It means I have like 21 of you that hopefully can become Luxury Cruise Connections guests very soon. So let me just share my screen real quick again. And introducing Solis, coming from January 2024.
Yeah, so we're going to be rolling this out to our ocean ships coming in January, kind of on a slow rollout period where we will be reintroducing this wonderful concept. So if you've sailed on Seabourn before, you likely have tried one of my favorite places to eat on board, which is called Earth and Ocean. And the same creators of Earth and Ocean are creating this brand new concept for us called Solis. So it truly will be a fine dining reservations restaurant, dinner only, that will focus on colorful Mediterranean inspired food that will hopefully truly delight our guests.
Okay, I did see one question that I think is relevant. What about the Dover sole and the Caesar salad? Are those
so those were all a part and continue to be a part of the Thomas Keller menus. I'm sure we will have different versions of equally delicious options that they will absolutely love.
Question. When I spoke to Steve, the VP of sales for Seabourn, he was sharing with me that one of the reasons behind this was just like you said, like when you guys surveyed your guest, you realize that Thomas Keller, while memorable for some people, it wasn't ranking at the top of the favorite restaurants on board Seabourn, and that was one of the reasons why when Thomas Keller said that he wasn't up to not having a steakhouse, that's why you were open to kind of revising that concept.
It's important to just listen. We really want to make sure that we're paying attention and not just getting stuck in our ways with any decision that we make. So while we love Thomas Keller truly, and we love everything that he has been doing, we just want to make sure that we're providing a vacation that our clients want the most. And if they're saying that a steakhouse and a very kind of heavier styled meal is not really what they're looking for anymore, we want to make sure that we're paying attention to that.
And so talk to us about the rollout. How soon will Thomas Keller transition out of the fleet and will Solis be in?
Yes. So it will be starting to roll out in January, and I can give you the full schedule later on. But it will be kind of a slow rollout amongst our ships of the Quest, the Sojourn, the Encore, and the Ovation. The Odyssey will have Thomas Keller until that ship leaves our fleet in August.
Okay. So and so, like, for example, our friend Stephen Horowitz that is doing the World Cruise, he'll see that transition mid-cruise, like mid-journey?
I'm not sure exactly when that happens on that ship. That may be once that journey is completely over.
Okay. Well, we'll see. I guess there's still some questions there, but hopefully we'll do this again soon, and we can get actual feedback from our guests that came back and tried it. But I definitely look forward to. I'm not necessarily that I look forward to the change, but I do trust that this is a change that is going to provide an even better experience. I know that Thomas Keller obviously has a brand, and some people might feel like, "Ooh, what's going to happen?" But I think that you guys have demonstrated that. I mean, we're not perfect, and sometimes we do make mistakes, but I think you guys have demonstrated a pretty good track record of just getting it right, especially by listening to your guests. So
thanks, Carlos. This does give us a little bit more flexibility than we have with today with the partnership. So we're not able to make any changes whatsoever to menus at this point. But once we do that, we will be able to make changes based upon feedback and make sure that we're offering exactly what our guests would like.
Okay, and so now we get to the part where I think we got a big part of our audience excited about sailing with Seabourn. Like, why wouldn't you want to sail with Seabourn at this point, right? And there are some particular last minute dates where you still have some availability. So remember, I told you guys that I had, I was very honored to be part of the advisory board for Seabourn. But that's just one of the very special things about our relationship. Another very special thing is the fact that when Seabourn needs some help filling certain dates particularly, they'll reach out to partners like us, a very few handful of partners throughout the United States that have a very closed list of clients and guests to maybe push a little bit some of the states and give us very special discounted rates. So one of the advantages of doing business with us, and I want to, I guess, segue into a little bit of that conversation before I share this slide. Wendy, can you share with our audience, is there any reason why anybody would not want to deal with Luxury Cruise Connections and deal direct? Or better yet, is there any reason why anybody would want to deal with Seabourn direct as opposed to dealing with Luxury Cruise Connections?
Oh my goodness. I think the service that your team provides at Luxury Cruise Connections is just exceptional. And one of the biggest deciders anytime that I'm thinking about doing business with it is with any kind of business is, what is my personal cost in doing so? Is it what will that transaction cost if I, do business with this person versus the other person, right? Or, what is the value of working with someone that it provides? And it's pretty remarkable to have an opportunity to work with such incredible professionals that really travel to places, that really experience these destinations, and where your cost as the consumer is exactly the same as if you were doing all these things yourself. I mean, certainly if you were going to the lumber store to buy lumber to build your own house, if you were doing it yourself, yes, it would be cheaper. But if you hired a contractor to build it for you, it would cost a lot more. Here, your contractor's free. We're building the house for you. They're building that house for you at no charge. It's pretty unbelievable. So I think you provide an incredible value that is just a remarkable, where it costs you absolutely nothing more to work with you and your team than it does to simply do it yourself.
And so I'm about to share a slide where we're offering our guests actually some itineraries where the price is actually lower than what they would get if they go straight to seabourn.com or if they call the general call center. Why is that? Like, why would you, being the cruise line, rely so heavily on us? Why give us the access to pricing that you just don't offer anybody else?
I think it's, these opportunities that you provide us and able to reach guests that we simply cannot reach ourselves. So you're allowing us the opportunity to meet some new people that might not have considered Seabourn before. Maybe you've never even heard of Seabourn before, but because of your relationships with Luxury Cruise Connections, now they're able to introduce you to a luxury brand that you might consider for your vacation. Now, I mean, you've got us all excited, Carlos. Let's see those rates.
Awesome.
What do you have for us? Show me the deal.
Show me the deal. So these are certain voyages that we wanted to, if you haven't planned your December, February, March yet, these are certain itineraries and itinerary segments that you can literally reserve at a very discounted price by dealing with Luxury Cruise Connections. By the way, you don't even have to take a print screen of this or take a picture of this. We're going to be sending this over to you guys together with the recording of the event. But if there's something in this screen that you guys like, send us an email, let us know, put it in the chat. Anywhere you want to, just, and Denise, if you can, please put our contact information in the chat for me real quick. Call us, email us, just reply back to the email invitation you received. We're very friendly, and so just let us know that you're interested, and we'll be happy to obviously help you book that itinerary. But obviously not everybody has not planned their last minute cruises yet. So there's also this limited special offer for solo travelers.
Love this one, Carlos. I mean, this is something that at Seabourn we really have not offered very frequently before. Typically, when someone is traveling by themselves, one of the biggest hurdles to doing so is not because their desire to do so, but because of the cost associated with it. So oftentimes a guest that traveling by themselves would pay double. Right. So everything is based upon double occupancy. So it's if you wanted to go somewhere, it wouldn't be just the one price, you would be having to double it. So what we were able to do and this is certainly not the full list. Again, this is just kind of a taste, a little teaser for you to give you an idea of what you could possibly do if you were traveling by yourself. Now, this is not double the price or add something to it. This is the single occupancy price for any of these voyages. It's just an exceptional value. And what I love about traveling by yourself on Seabourn is you never feel alone. It is such a social environment, such a wonderful experience, truly has that kind of country club feel that you make friends instantly. So it doesn't matter if you're traveling by yourself or as a couple or with several couples, you're going to meet new people on board and become instant friends throughout your voyage and likely afterwards as well.
Excellent. And also for the Seabourn referral program, this is something that I want everybody to know. Refer your friends and family and earn $250 shipper credit for you both. So you, as the referee, as well as whoever your referral is, are going to get $250. Question, Wendy, you have to have sailed with Seabourn to be able to do this, right?
That's right. Yeah, if you've sailed with Seabourn before, invite your friends to come and join you the next time. It doesn't have to be on the same voyage. It could be on a different voyage. That part doesn't matter, but just tell them about Seabourn. We love introducing new people to our brand because we find that, once you try Seabourn for the first time, it'll be very difficult to make any other vacation choices after that.
Okay. And last but not least, because obviously we're taking a little bit of your time today, hopefully very educational last hour, but ideally, but we did take a few minutes of your day. So we want to extend, sorry, we're not there yet. Okay, sorry.
Yes, we're almost there. Yeah, so we do have our Black Friday sale. I'll go very quickly. It provides a 2-category upgrade, veranda suite upgrade, as well as up to $2,000 shipboard credit for you to enjoy 50% reduced deposit, and almost all of our sailings are included in this. So that is our current sale that's going on. And then, as well as Carlos was mentioning, we have an additional incentive for you for being a part of our time today.
And now, I just want to point this out that this promotion is typically not combinable with the reduced rates that I showed you at the beginning. It's important to know this because it's the other reduced rates are already extremely reduced, so that's like the perk for those rates. And this is more for if you're booking one of the promotional rates, but not. I guess promotional full rates and not the deeply discounted rates, right? Also important to mention that this $300 per suite are also meant to incentivize you. If you've already made a booking with Seabourn, it's meant to incentivize you to make a new one, right? So I want to make sure that I highlight that this is meant for people that haven't booked or that want to book another cruise, and this is what this is for, is to incentivize people to make a reservation. So thank you, for this, Wendy. I know that you're extending this exclusively to us and to our guests that are participating in today's event, and I know this is very special. So appreciate that very, very much. And wow, the chat is like full of questions and comments. By the way, I do want to start off by apologizing for, I realized that for some reason, as many of you guys were registering, I guess the default name in the form was Mavi. And I see that many of you guys registered under that name inadvertently. That's probably our fault, so sorry for that. And I tried to change your name as I asked many of you guys to give me your actual real name, and I couldn't. So I apologize if I still don't have your actual name in the screen as we go through these questions, okay? But Ronald and Barbara were asking about Thomas Keller. So again, we already talked about it. Barbara, Ronald, let me know if you want to, have any more questions on it. Deborah was commenting about what she likes the most, learning when traveling, learning about people, places, foods. Ron was talking about to learn about history, culture, society, and the different adventures, destinations, Northwest Passage, etc. That's amazing. And Robert was saying, go Heels, Tar Heels, here too, live in Chapel Hill. There you go. And
we have any live questions, Carlos? And
yeah,
we can certainly answer some of those offline as well.
I'm going to them. Wendy, I want to ask you something as we go through this. So one second. Any cruises to northeastern coming up late next summer? Interest in about a 12-day cruise to ports in the Netherlands, Germany, Belgium, Switzerland. Sorry about the poor spelling. It's okay. Let me see if I can get your sorry. So what we can do is I have a question. Do we handle flights and transfers, or are we on our own for those? That was William. Wendy, that's for you. That's a question.
Oh, yes, absolutely. We have a wonderful flight program, and when you book a flight with Seabourn, the transfers are included from the airport to the ship.
Okay, and
what about from your house to your ship?
That piece is not included.
That piece is not included. So you have to basically get to the airport, and then I guess you're comparing with Silver Sea's program, which is different. But that's also very much reflected in the price as well. So Seabourn package does not include the airfare. I'm sorry, the transfer to the airport from home, but then everything else can absolutely be taken care of.
But Carlos, does your team potentially help with that
Yeah.
transfer if they need it?
Of course, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
How many different levels of suites do you have on the ships?
Oh, quite a few different ones. There's only maybe 2 of that particular category. If you're talking about our signature suites or our winter gardens, all of the suites are beautiful. Truly, from the smallest one to the largest one, they all provide different experiences. Oftentimes, it really is just a difference of size. So maybe you'd like to have one that's 2 stories. I don't know if you saw that, Carlos, on the Seabourn Pursuit when you were on board. The winter garden is actually 2 floors. It's truly
I'm looking for
spectacular.
one around 400 square feet, not including the balcony.
I'm certain that the staff at Luxury Cruise Connections will be able to find you exactly what you want on your voyage.
Thank you.
And again, I think you're one of the few that unfortunately couldn't get the actual name. Can you? What is your name?
Chip NATO.
Your Chip.
I usually deal with Derek.
Okay. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah, we got you. We'll have Derek reach out to you. Awesome. Okay, let's talk about Starlink real quick, Wendy. You have Starlink on all of your ships already, or what's the rollout process like?
Yeah, so our expedition ships have them. I think we might have completed our full rollout right now. But
why would he be mad?
I don't know. You sounded mad.
No, I was talking into the computer.
Go for it. So you were saying about the Starlink?
I believe we have them fully rolled out at this point, but I'd need to double check.
Cruise people.
Okay. So if you can send us that rollout schedule, it'd be great for us to we can share that with our audience when we send the follow-up email to this event. Okay. And I had a message from Angela. She's saying, I'm a Crystal Cruises loyalist for 18 years on Crystal. Why should I switch to Seabourn given my current status on Crystal?
What do you think, Carlos?
Wow. Well, you're the one that I'm interviewing, so you should be answering. Look, I think it's not a very easy question to answer, because I think there's always the right cruise and the right ship for everybody. And Crystal does an incredible job at delivering experiences, with your butler, and very elegant, and a little bit of a different approach to luxury and elegance, while Seabourn is going to be a lot more relaxed and a lot more again, a lot more casual when it comes to both the service. Like, for example, there's no butlers on Seabourn, right? But you get the same level of service via your attendant, your room attendant. That's how we call it, right? Room attendant. Yeah.
Yes.
So you get the same level of service. Just they don't call it a butler because they don't want that perception of it being kind of that typical traditional elegance per se, right? So it's a little bit more of a laid back luxury. What you're gonna get from Seabourn. I think that I don't think it's fair to say that one is better than the other. I think that each one of these 2 cruise lines offer a very unique experience that is very much different one to the other. Like, even from the size of the ship, right? Seabourn is going to be almost half the size of a Crystal ship. That alone is going to offer a little bit of a different experience. You're going to have access to ports that you are not going to get with Crystal. So sometimes looking at the itinerary and understanding the ports and where the ship dock will make a difference in the experience, and maybe that's important to you. If dressing up, for example, and having the butler and that traditional elegance is what is important for you, then Crystal might be the right thing for you. So I think it's a hard question to answer because of that, because I think both cruise lines offer an incredible level of service, just with a different approach. And
I completely agree with your answer. And I agree. It's very hard. It's so nuanced. No matter what, either choice is going to be a spectacular vacation. And I will never say anything negative about one of our competitors. So I think they all provide truly exceptional vacations. It just comes down to personal preference of the style of vacation that you're looking for. And Carlos, you absolutely touched on it. Seabourn does more of a resort casual, country club casual, has an extremely friendly staff. And as you know, because the staff on board is so friendly and inviting, you feel like you're at home instantly. So it just feels very warm and welcoming and friendly amongst the other guests that are on board. So if that's the kind of thing that is very interesting to you, then I think Seabourn's a wonderful choice. But there's certainly the other brands provide fantastic experiences. So I'll never say, anything bad about any of them. We're just happy that everyone's traveling. We love that people are choosing cruise vacations because we think they're the absolute best choice in travel.
Could you comment on onboard entertainment, please?
Yes, happy to. So there's a big variety. So we do have nightly shows on our ocean ships featuring some truly skilled dancers and singers that do sort of everything from variety shows to more of a Broadway style performance. And on top of that, we have a partnership with Tim Rice. Tim Rice is the wonderful playwright that's done things like The Lion King and Evita and some beautiful musicals. So he's designed a show for us that we feature on board our ocean ships, as well as some collaborations of some of his music through some other pieces. So as far as our evening the entertainment kind of in a main show in a theater style, that's what you can often experience nightly. On top of that, we do have several lecturers that come on each voyage, and they tend to talk about the history of the region that we're venturing to, and sometimes just something else. So something else that's of interest. So not always just kind of history and about the places we're visiting, but sometimes, just more interesting, unique topics as well. So that's really fun. And then we also have entertainers like piano musicians that will play during our tea time, or might play a wonderful set before or after dinner. We have duos that do the same and sometimes play outside, which is really wonderful. And then we even have a small band that plays dance music. So things from like the 60s to the 80s that are really fun to get up and dance to. So a big variety of fun music and entertainment depending on your style.
Thank you for your answer. What are the 80s?
What are the 80s?
Yeah. 60s, I know.
Oh, I think the 80s are mighty fun. So maybe come and join.
And sorry, also, can you, what is your name? I didn't get a chance to.
Richard Morgan.
Richard. Morgan?
Yes.
Thank you, Richard. All right, perfect. And then I have a lot of questions, both on private and public, about Starlink. So I don't, you don't have any more information handy, right? We're gonna have to send this as a follow-up, right? The rollout of the Starlink.
Yes, let me send that to you afterwards.
Yeah, so Steve and Ron, we'll send that through. I do know that Seabourn is working very hard and very quickly to try to roll this out throughout the entire fleet. And I do believe that by the end of 24, every single ship is going to have it.
I think it's actually way before that. And in fact, we might be there now, but I want to confirm that.
Okay. How stable are the smaller seaborne ships? Is there more sickness in heavy seas compared to larger ships?
Oh, that's such a personal thing. I think there's some people that are just tend to feel motion a bit more than other guests. So I would say if sometimes you don't feel well, if you're sitting in the back seat of a car, then the chances are you might likely feel motion on the ocean more so than maybe someone else. But for the most part, we try to find the smoothest seas possible. We of course have stabilizers on all of our ships, and we use them. They basically work like oars, so they're just there for when the ship is feeling a little bit more movement. We're able to kind of stabilize the ship ship, so less rocking kind of back and forth. What we can't do anything about is when the waves are coming front to back, that kind of porpoising style. Can't do anything about that one, but we do try to slow the ship down and navigate to smooth water. So I've found, Carlos, use this as a tip as needed. If you think you might be feeling seasick, you should have a glass of champagne. Something about the bubbles, truthfully, something about, and I didn't say the bottle, but a glass of champagne will truly kind of help make you forget all about that motion you're just experiencing.
You know, throughout my years doing this, I really have never heard anybody stating that smaller ships are particularly you know, rockier than larger ships. I mean, obviously, in logic would state that it would feel that way, but like you said, I mean, just the experience, especially you know, in unless you're doing a transatlantic, maybe that's a little bit hard to avoid on those, but there are certain most of the times you can really navigate through calm water. And then on your expedition ships, you have the stabilizers that are crazy amazing. And because I saw a question that is, and that's going to be actually my next question, about Drake passage and how rocky the ship can get during the Drake passage. And I saw some comments from people. Stephen was saying fairly calm, outbound, fairly rough, inbound to Argentina.
You never know. That's the thing. Some people call it the Drake Lake, meaning that it's glassy and smooth as it can be. And it certainly is like that in times. And then there are other times where they call it the Drake Shake. And, you know, some people say that getting there is half the fun, right? So you know to experience that. It's part of the adventure. Carlos, you were talking a lot about liking adventure. And with adventure, sometimes there comes some exciting bits, right? So if you find that, you know, again, like we were talking about, you know, if you feel maybe motion, if you're sitting in the back seat of a car, you can get wonderful little sea bands. Have you seen those before? They're little pressure point, kind of look like sweat bands that you might slide on your wrists. They're little pressure points. They work so well. Or, you know, take a visit to your doctor before you leave for the journey, and they will prescribe you something that works beautifully. I've seen other people with the little stickers behind their ears that I've heard that works really well. So all different types of things, but it's important to, you know, identify, hey, do I think that that's me? Have I ever felt kind of sick in the car before, something like that? If so, chances are you might feel motion while you're at sea.
And again, the stabilizers, right? So stabilizers on board that ship are incredible. And so they actually have the ability to navigate and to kind of be a little bit more owner of the schedule when it comes to navigating the passage, because they can withstand a little bit more of that rough sea because of those stabilizers, and it doesn't feel bad at all. But you do need to be prepared because it can happen, and sometimes those waves are high, and you gotta know that's the case.
Bill's got some great advice too. Ginger, you're right, Bill. Ginger works great. We always have ginger. We actually have the candied ginger on all of our ships. We actually have it in a bowl right as you're leaving our restaurant. So it's also really good for digestion. So some people like to get a little bit of the candied ginger after dinner to, you know, just help with digestion. But ginger also works great. Apples too. So there's lots of little tricks that I've picked up along the way. Truthfully, champagne. But if you want to go the more natural route of ginger and apples, you can do that too.
And Cynthia was commenting about acupuncture services.
Yeah.
Not sure if you still have it.
We're not offering that at this time.
Okay. But and then, you know, Deborah was asking, you know, if you offer a fly the fly cruise into Antarctica. And I know that you don't. And I do want to point out that for a lot of people, Deborah, navigating the Drake Passage is part of that bucket list. Like, you know, Antarctica is a bucket list destination for many, and navigating the Drake Passage is definitely one of those, just like polar plunging, is one of those things that you want to check off that list. So definitely you want to, if you are going to do it and you are afraid about seasickness, then using a ship that has the stabilizers is definitely going to help. And Jennifer was asking, what is a seasonal migration expedition in North America? Not familiar with that one. That was in your destination slide. It was one of the circles.
Yes,
in your
that's fascinating. fascinating. So we typically start in Canada and venture down kind of its migration, like think animal migration or whale migration into the Caribbean area and into the Amazon. So it's again, kind of something that's a bit more off the beaten path. The focus there is really a lot of bird activity and kind of watching as the seasons change as you cruise down one of the coasts, the east or the west coast, and really fascinating places. If you enjoy sea days, those are really enhanced by a lot of sea days. We do a lot of activities during those times. So for some guests, they really, really enjoy the time just on board the ship.
And I have another question. Again, I can't identify the name, so if you can unmute yourself and tell me, as the Odyssey was sold, is the cruise line leaning to more expedition ships rather than the rest of the world, like rather than ocean ships?
No, we really have a balance between the two. In fact, we have far more ocean ships than we have expedition ships. It's just it was simply, we want to keep a very new fleet of ships for our guests, and that was the oldest ship in our fleet. We are keeping it in excellent condition until it leaves our fleet in August. But it was just an opportunity to keep our ships the newest as possible.
Awesome. And I think that's a good, and then I'm sure you're gonna come back eventually and start adding more ocean ships later on. Richard had also asked a question about the sizes of the suites. Do any have butlers? I mentioned there's no actual butlers, but there's attendants that act as butlers. Can someone on a walker navigate the ship, excursions? Can you expand a little bit on that, Wendy?
Yes, so we have accommodations that will not just work with someone that maybe has some limited mobility, but even if someone maybe has very restricted ability and maybe needs to use another device, so like a wheelchair, we have suites that are designed specifically for that. Still very beautiful. The biggest difference would be wider openings, a little bit different designed closet, different designed bathroom, so that those guests can navigate that area perfectly. All of our corridors are nice and wide, and you're able to kind of reach all the different parts of the ship just simply navigating on your own. As far as getting on and off the ship, that is no issue for the most part. There are some areas where we tender, meaning that we get on one of the small boats and then go ashore instead of actually having a docking location. For most guests, they're able to get on and off the tender, but it really would depend upon that person's mobility, whether that would work for them or not.
Okay, that makes sense. My next question is, will Solis be available in February for Singapore Hong Kong cruise? Deborah, we'll just stay tuned for the follow-up email. I don't think we have the actual schedule for Solis just yet, right? I know you're finalizing that, or if you have it, you're going to send it to us so we can share with everybody, right?
I can send you the rollout for Solis, yes. But it'll be fully rolled out by about April.
Okay. Taylor was saying, say hi to Captain Saib, the boar. We love fine dining. The sushi Japanese restaurant need to be upgraded.
All
okay.
Right. Thanks for that feedback.
Good feedback. Charles was asking about Solis, will it be available in Svalbard this coming June? If you're sailing Svalbard, most likely you're on one of the expedition ships. Charles, is that right? If that's the case, I'm not sure if Solis is going to be on the expedition ships just yet.
No, we do not have plans of putting Solis on an expedition ship. So that'll just be on our ocean ships.
Right.
That's too bad to hear.
What's that?
That's too bad to hear.
Well, but you are on the expedition ships?
Yes.
Okay, so even though Solis is not going to be there, the dining options within on board the expedition ships are incredible anyway. So there's Wendy, just keep me real here. There's no extra charge restaurant within the expedition ships, right?
There's no extra charge restaurant within any of our ships.
Right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, let me take that back. There's no restaurant within the expedition ships that would behave the same way Thomas Keller.
Right. There's no reservations only kind of restaurant.
That's
Correct. Correct.
Okay. So is the next question is the gym or fitness class available or some type of fitness program?
Absolutely. Fitness is my passion. So yeah, it's we have incredible gyms on board all of our ships. We do offer classes as well, so a big variety of things from yoga to more Pilates style to spin classes. So just depending on kind of what is the most interest to you. But yes, incredibly appointed gyms from treadmills to ellipticals to free weights to machines. Really, really beautiful gyms.
Awesome. And I just want to take the opportunity to read Stephen's comment. Stephen, thank you very much. He said, I have no experience with any other cruise consultants, but I find it hard to imagine that anyone else could do it better or even as well as LCC. Stephen, thank you very much. That's thank you for the endorsement.
So nice.
Greatly appreciate it.
That's beautiful. That my time is somewhat limited, but that might be a lovely way to end, Carlos, because I agree. Working with you and your team is such a pleasure.
Thank you very much. I think the questions that are remaining in the chat, I will make sure to follow up with the answers via the email follow-up that we're going to be sending. But I really want to thank you for spending all this time with us. And thank all of our guests that are here today that really spend all this time learning about Seabourn and getting to know us. You know, it's such a pleasure to have the opportunity to share the passion of cruising with you. And obviously, you know, we don't get an opportunity to have you on these events very often. I know you're very, very busy. So I don't take it for granted. And I want to thank you very much for your time. Is there anything else you want to add before you go?
Please come see us. We would love to welcome all of your guests on board. So I hope this information was valuable and helped provide some interesting thought processes for all of you to think about Seabourn for your next vacation. But we certainly can't do it without you, Carlos, and your team. So we really appreciate everything that you do.
Thank you,
Wendy, very much. Amazing.
Contact us at luxurycruiseconnections.com.